How are we doing, guys? And this is an incredibly difficult video. I'll be honest, guys, this is an incredibly difficult, but it only felt right to pay tribute to Nolan Hunter because the football community today has lost a truly incredible person, a truly incredible, down-to-earth person, and I mean every single word of that. The reason I'm doing the video is because Norman's done so much for me and my family over the years. I didn't know Norman well, to be honest. I didn't know him well, but I met Norman on a couple of occasions, and he really is, I can't exaggerate how humble, knowledgeable, all the values you want from a person. He epitomised it, Norman. I think if you're an aspiring footballer or aspiring to achieve a lot in life, you look up to someone like Norman Hunter. He worked hard, he stayed down to earth, he was humble, talented, and he got the absolute maximum, out of his career. And afterwards as well, he's a great speaker. He managed as well. He achieved everything. He achieved everything in the game, and that's something to really exaggerate there. We really are losing an incredible person. I think the big thing for me was his care for other people. He really cared about what other people achieved in that lot. And whenever I met him, I didn't know Norman well. That's something I'm going to exaggerate here. I didn't know Norman well, but I met him on quite a couple of occasions. And I had some really, really good chats with Nolan Hunter. And to be fair, he really took an interest. He really did take an interest because, I spoke to him once, and then when I spoke to him again, he remembered everything about me, and he really, really did. He cared. He cared so much. I think the biggest memory was probably from the Josh Warrington fight back in May 2018 when he fought Lee Selby. Obviously Josh wasn't massively fancied going into that fight. A lot of people will say that they always thought Josh was going to win that fight, but the general consensus was that that it was a real tough battle for Josh Warrington, but obviously he won it easily. But anyway, it was an incredible day at Elland Road. Probably one of the top 3 memories at Elland Road. But what really stood out that day was getting to hang around with Nolan Hunter quite a lot on the day. My dad was working with him, so it was everything. Socialising together, etc., etc. For 6 or 7 hours before the fight, and it really was an incredible experience for me. Just seeing how down to earth Nolan Hunter was. How much that's the thing. You wouldn't have known Nolan Hunter was a footballer, unless you know what I mean, guys. You genuinely wouldn't have a clue Nolan Hunter was a footballer from the way he acted, because he just was so down to earth. And that was the big thing. I think you can take from Nolan Hunter. I think from what other people have said as well, and it was how much you wanted Josh Warrington to win that really stood out. How much you really wanted Josh Warrington to win, and it's just fantastic. And how much you wanted this Leeds team to do well. He cares as much about this current Leeds team as he did his own Leeds team. He really was the epitome of what it meant to be Leeds, the epitome of what it meant to be Leeds. He wasn't born in Leeds, but he was 100% Leeds, 100% Leeds. His knowledge was incredible, but you could see he was a manager. From his presence, you could tell he was a manager. He had that authority about him. You could just tell he was a manager. He was successful as a manager as well. Got a promotion with Barnsley. And that's the thing. His knowledge of the game was absolutely fantastic. A couple of times sat alongside Nolan Hunter watching games from my dad, etc., etc. Being a comedian compere, working at Leeds quite a lot, and his knowledge of the game was absolutely incredible. I think a lot of Leeds legends, have incredible knowledge of the game. Steve Hodge for one, Andy Cousins, all got a fantastic knowledge of the game. How they read the game, how they see the game differently as professionals to the ordinary fan. They just see the game differently. They understand the game differently, the emotions behind it, why certain things happen in football matches, having experienced it as well. And Norman was from a different kind of era, in the 70s and that lot, when kind of things like tactical analysis wasn't done so much, but his understanding of the game, I can't exaggerate, was absolutely fantastic. Ian Dennis alluded to it as well in an interview, paying tribute to Nolan Hunter, saying that from his time at BBC Radio Leeds, working alongside Nolan Hunter for 4 years, he alluded to Nolan Hunter's knowledge being absolutely fantastic, being a delight to work with. And I can only echo those what's been said there. Absolutely delightful. I think the big thing in terms of his knowledge was the start of the Marcelo Bielsa reign. We started with the first 10 games were absolutely breathtaking, like nothing we've really seen since the Howard Wilkinson days. But I think what was really amazing with Nolan Hunter in terms of analysis was that we got an injury to Pablo Hernandez. So I think it was probably about 10 games into the start of last season. You guys will probably remember it. We got the injury to Pablo Hernandez. We won a couple of games after it, and then we went on a bad run. Well, I think what really stood out was that Norman Hunter knew that bad run was coming. He said, he genuinely explained why without Pablo Hernandez, the problems the team had. I think the big problem with the team was we were heavily reliant on scoring goals from distance without Pablo Hernandez in the team. To break the oppositions down, defending low blocks, etc. And I can't explain word for word for it because A, it was a long time ago, and B, the knowledge of Norman has compared to me is absolutely chalk and cheese. And I think Norman's understanding of the game is absolutely unbelievable. You can see why he's a manager. Why he was a manager, and he's just understanding of the game. He said the bad run's coming, and this was at a time when we were flying. Everyone thought, "Wow, this Leeds team's going to break all the points records you can think of, etc., etc." But obviously, that didn't happen. We missed out on promotion. But the reasons that Norman Hunter said was what was going to happen was exactly what happened, and that was just so amazing. It's just that extra detail, seeing the game in that way, and his knowledge was just fantastic. Even during games, as I've said. And even other games, etc., other teams in that lot, just knowing absolutely 1 to 11, subs bench, understanding every single team, and that's why he has been a football analyst, why he's been a great sportsman speaker, etc. And I think just to try and lighten this up a little bit, and because that's the thing, I think Norm was having met him, he's such a positive person. I think there was a couple of times I met him when we lost games, but he's still smiling and really appreciate. I think that's the thing. I think a lot of people said that. Eddie Gray said it as well. He really appreciated things, and and that's just amazing. And but I think the big thing was the Brian Clough quote. I think a lot of you will have seen this today, but what Brian Clough said to Norman Hunter on his first day at Leeds, on Brian Clough's first day at Leeds, was, "Everyone hates you. Everyone likes to be loved. Wouldn't you too?" And Norman Hunter's reply was absolutely brilliant. He said, "Actually, I couldn't give a fuck." Just absolutely brilliant, absolutely top class, and that's the thing. Watching him as a speaker, he's just so funny, so funny, and and intelligent, and just the perfect combination of a sportsman and a speaker, and that's the thing. Just a fantastic person. And I think the big thing to talk about, I said about his achievements. His achievements in the game were absolutely unbelievable. In terms of British football, absolutely unbelievable. We're talking 2 league titles. We're talking the promotion. FA Cup, League Cup, European Cup, European Cup, let's be honest, European Cup we can include in there as well, and the World Cup. He won a World Cup at 22. He won the World Cup in his home country at 22. That's absolutely unbelievable. Yeah, you might say he didn't play, but to get in the squad at your home World Cup and to win it must have been absolutely unbelievable. And the big thing was as well, with his England career, was that he played a big part in the next tournament after that, the 1968 European Championships. And actually, what doesn't get acknowledged was Norman Hunter scored the goal that qualified us for that tournament, played a big part in the team. And to be fair, ever since the 1966 World Cup, we finished third at that tournament. We've never done better since. As England internationally have never done better since. And Norman Hunter was in that team. He played out of position. He scored the winning goal that got us to the tournament in the first place. I think he played on the wing at times in that tournament. Again, obviously, football lineups and that lot are probably a bit misleading from that time. But if anyone in the comments can comment on that and can confirm that, but Norman Hunter was playing out of position in that tournament, and we had our best tournament since that 66 World Cup there and then. He wasn't picked for 1970. He was in the squad, but he was left on the bench. And we didn't perform, and that's the big thing with Norman Hunter, was the influence he had on the teams he played for, and that was why he was so great. He is, for me, obviously I haven't seen Norman Hunter play, but in terms of what he achieved in the game, the whole way he played, I'm seeing highlights of games since, not just highlights, some full matches, the Arsenal Cup final, seeing full matches of the League Cup, FA Cup final, and seen quite a lot of very full 90-minute matches, and what really stood out is the influence Norman Hunter had on that team. He's by far the greatest Leeds defender of all time. You might talk about people like Lucas Radebe, Jack Charlton, but what really stood out with Norman Hunter was how well he adapted. From the time he played, he was just a crucial part of the team. He started in 1962 at Leeds, came through the academy, and Leeds as a team. Obviously, the Don Revie era had a massive influence on it, but ever since Norman Hunter went into the team, everything changed at Leeds. Everything changed at Leeds. He was a massive influence, and that was what the point I was trying to make with England. He very underrated, very, very underrated player. But for me, you look at his career, and there's not many people in terms of British football, or even football in general, from a defensive point of view, who can match Nolan Hunter's honours list, achievements in the game. Not many can match it. Not many can match it at all. And that's the thing. He won everything. He really did win everything. Just looking through, through my notes on Nolan Hunter, there's quite a few things I want to go through that really stood out to me from Nolan Hunter. But I think the big thing was in 1969 and 1974 when we won the league, Nolan Hunter played every single game. Every single game that season. He led the defence. And that's the big thing with the Revie era, was that, if looking at an analytical point of view, when you talk about the Don Revie era, you think of the character of the team. You think of Billy Bremner. You think of Johnny Giles. You think of Eddie Gray's flair on the wing. You think of Peter Lorimer having shots from distance. You think of Alan Clark's clinical finishing. You think of Mick Jones's hard work. You think of a lot of the attacking elements of the team. What doesn't get a lot of acknowledgement is the defensive side of things. And Norman Hunter was the crucial part of that defence. You speak to people like Paul Reaney, Trevor Cherry, alongside him, Jack Charlton, etc., etc. Looking along that defence, they all kind of say the same thing. Norman Hunter was a crucial pillar of that team, the most underrated player in the team. He was absolutely critical. Absolutely critical. We talk about Paul Madeley. Obviously Paul Madeley we tragically lost last year as well. Paul Madeley could play in loads of positions, but when Leeds didn't have Norman Hunter in the team, there was a big problem there. There was a big problem. They lost a big character in the team, a fantastic player in the team. And that's the thing as well. He was a fantastic ball-playing centre-back. He was really good on the ball. He could dribble out of tight situations. He took risks on the ball, but calculated risks. He read the game well. I've said this about his reading of the game, his analysis of the game. Really intelligent. Really, really intelligent. But in 69-74, he played every game, as I've said. I think the big thing as well was he kept clean sheets in our biggest games, our biggest ever games in our history, to be honest. You look at Arsenal, the 68 Cup final, the 72 Cup final, crucial in both games, absolutely rock solid. Arsenal didn't really have a proper effort on goal in either game. We looked so comfortable in the defence. The whole team was very much attack-minded, so it left quite a lot of spaces in front of the back four, but Norman Hunter led it really well. He led it so well, and was so solid at the back. Crucial clean sheets, gave us the platform to score one goal and win the game. That's the thing. We talk about Alan Clark's winner, we talk about Terry Cooper's winner, but Norman Hunter gave the platform for those wins. We never looked in any pressure in either game. Norman Hunter gave the platform in those wins. He won his headers. He was good on the ball. He started a lot of attacks. He cut out crosses. He was nice and aggressive. And again, if we all know, he's nice and aggressive. But he was so crucial in the team. So crucial. If he had to foul someone and take one for the team, if he had a yellow card, he would do it. It's epitome of a team player. Like everyone was in that era, to be fair. It would be unfair to just say Norman Hunter was just a team player because the whole team was team players. But truly incredible. Obviously, we've got Liverpool 69 as well. Liverpool in 1969, where we needed to get a point to win the league. He was an absolute warrior. Again, I've not actually seen the game itself, but I've seen the writing up of the game. It was a game where Don Revie set us up quite defensively. We parked the bus to an extent, but we needed a point to win the league, and it made sense. A great Liverpool team we're talking about here. Really the start of the Bill Shankly era. We went there, we kept a clean sheet, we kept it solid at the back. Norman starred in that game, and we win the league. Again, crucial games he starts. And one that really stood out to me was 1975, watching it back. In fact, I watched it back about 2 or 3 months ago when we beat Barcelona in the Champions League semi-finals to make the all-famous 1975 final, which we won. Let's be honest, we won that one. But yeah, the semi-final itself, how rock solid in the second leg at the new camp. Barcelona were trailing. Barcelona were going to come out attacking us, and they did. But Norman Hunter, was just an absolute warrior that night. We're talking about arguably the greatest player to have ever played football in Johan Cruyff, who was playing up front that night as a false 9 for Barcelona, and Norman Hunter pocketed him. Johan Cruyff then, Johan Cruyff, one of my heroes, to be honest, growing up. And I think the big thing with that was what Johan Cruyff said about the Leeds team afterwards, but the respect he had for that Leeds team, and that was absolutely, you can't speak highly enough of that. And the crucial thing was Norman Hunter pocketed Johan Cruyff, one of arguably the greatest player we've ever seen. Norman Hunter pocketed him, and the crucial night how he made our only ever European Cup final. But what I'm going to talk about as well is the influence Norman Hunter had on the team. So if you go to 1970, 71, Sorry, in fact, no, I'll start with 1968-69 when we won the league for the first time. We conceded 26 goals in 42 games that season. 26 goals in 42 games. Again, the Revie team known for its attacking flair, solid at the back. The crucial foundations for that. Norman Hunter part of it. 26 goals in 42 games. 1970-71, 30 goals against in 42 games. 1972 in the league, 31 goals against in 42 games. And then came 1973. Norman Hunter got an injury. He played only 35 times. Interesting stat here. We conceded 45 goals in 42 games. All of a sudden, the sudden jump. Norman Hunter didn't play a lot of games. It highlights it when he's missing. The team really missed him. He was a crucial part of the team. Crucial part of that defence that allows Revie ball to happen. Allows Revie's ideas, tactical ideas to happen. Was having that crucial defender at the heart of the defence. 1974, when we won the league, 31 goals against in 42 games. Norman Hunter played every game. Look at that sudden drop. 45 goals to 31 goals in the season. Norman Hunter back in the team. You know, as I've said those stats, I probably said it in quite a strange way. And then the season after that, played 25 times. We conceded a really high 49 goals without Hunter in the team. It's just to influence how much of an influence he had on the team. You know, I've already said about 68 for England. We had our best tournament since 66, and we've not bettered that since. He scored the goals. He was a crucial part of the team. Leeds United, he was a crucial part of that defence. And that is why I make the point he's the greatest Leeds defender of all time. And he's one of the greatest Leeds players of all time. And that's the thing. I think we're talking about football hero, you know, in terms of what he's done for myself over the years and that lot. The fact that he went out of his way to help me. He went out of his way to help my dad. He really is, you know, in every sense of the word, a hero to me. And probably my most favourite Leeds player of all time. And I genuinely mean that. I don't think anyone in our lifetimes will come close to achieving what Norman Hunter achieved at our football club. You know, playing from 1962 to 1978, the consistency, that's the big thing, the consistency for Leeds United. You know, that is why for me he's one of the greatest British defenders of all time. How many defenders do you hear of these days, or even in recent years, who play just for year in, year out, consistently, defensively, were consistently challenging for titles. Yeah, you might argue we only won 2 league titles, but we're consistently challenging for titles, consistently excellent at the back, in the big games, consistently excellent. And Norman Hunter was a massive part of that. Massive part of that. And that is why he's one of the greatest Leeds players of all time. That is why he deserves a status up there with Billy Bremner's. Alongside Billy Bremner's, you know, in terms of that era. Alongside Johnny Giles. You know, that is the level we're talking about. Alongside John Charles, we're talking a real incredible talent here. An incredible part of football. And that's all you can say, really, guys. It's so incredibly sad, but it felt right to pay tribute to Norman Hunter because his achievements in the game were truly incredible. And it'd be, if Leeds can find someone who achieves half or even a quarter of what Norman Hunter has achieved in his Leeds career, we'll do well. We talk about this current team as being legends and that lot, but they pale in terms of in comparison to what Norman Hunter achieved at Leeds United. It truly was, you know, everything Leeds United is about in terms of values, the way he acted, a real presence in the team, a real formidable force. You know, we talk about the Revie era. You know, he really gave us that physical edge. You know, we talk about Billy Bremner, but I think Norman Hunter's probably that one you really look at and think he really had that physical edge. Obviously, Billy Bremner had all the talent in the world. He could do everything with the ball, but Norman Hunter probably gave us that more physical edge. But, you know, obviously the whole team had that about it. You know, I think obviously the famous quotes that who's the hardest player in the team, and I can't remember who said it, but I think he said all 11 of them. You know, that's the thing, and so many incredible memories at the club and what he achieved internationally. Club career, absolutely incredible. And for those who are lucky enough to see Norman Hunter play, then please comment, guys. Please comment on what Norman Hunter meant to you. And is he the greatest Leeds player of all time? Is he the greatest defender of all time for Leeds United? How good was Norman Hunter? That's what I want to know, guys. And how much did Norman Hunter mean to you? And that's what I want to do, guys. I want to pay tribute to an absolute Leeds legend and someone that meant a lot to me, a lot to my family, a fantastic person. And thank you so much, Norman. I'm going to leave it there, guys. See you later, guys.